The metallic boots of Command Officer Raj echoed through the pristine corridors of HGS Prometheus as he made his final inspection round. His heart raced with a mixture of pride and anxiety. This wasn't just another Starship launch. This was humanity's bold step into a new era of space warfare. The Prometheus hung majestically in Mars orbit, its sleek hull catching the red planet's dim sunlight. Through the observation deck's reinforced windows, Reg could see the massive ship's spine pulsing with a faint blue glow, the telltale sign of the Pulsar-Core beating at its heart. 6 years of construction, countless sleepless nights, and the combined efforts of Earth's finest minds had led to this moment. Engineering reports all systems nominal, announced Flight Lieutenant Zhang over the comm system, her voice steady despite the tension everyone felt. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, their movements precise but betraying their nervous energy. This was no simulation. They were about to pilot the most powerful warship humanity had ever built. In the reactor chamber below, Chief Engineer Rodriguez's team monitored the Pulsar-Core's containment fields. The artificial star fragment they'd captured and stabilized was a testament to human ingenuity and their greatest gamble. One miscalculation, one system failure, and the core could tear the ship apart. Raj stepped onto the bridge, the soft blue glow of holographic displays casting shadows across his weathered face. "Status report," he commanded, settling into the captain's chair. The leather still felt stiff, unused. "All departments report ready, sir," responded First Officer Patel, handing over the final checklist. "Mars Control has cleared us for departure. They're streaming the launch to every colony in the system." Reg nodded, keenly aware of the billions watching. The Prometheus wasn't just a warship, it was hope. With the outer colonies facing increasing threats from unknown forces, humanity needed a guardian, a deterrent that could keep the peace without sparking an all-out war. "Begin launch sequence," Rage ordered, his voice firm. The bridge came alive with activity. Outside, the massive dock arms that had cradled the Prometheus during construction began to retract. Warning lights flashed across the hull as the ship's systems powered up one by one. The Pulsar-Core's hum grew louder, resonating through the ship's framework. Energy readings spiked on the monitoring stations as the artificial star fragment responded to the power-up sequence. Years of simulations had prepared them for this, but nothing could truly replicate the feeling of controlling such raw power. As the final countdown began, Raj gripped his armrests tightly. The weight of command of history pressed down on his shoulders. "For Earth," he whispered, echoing the words etched on the ship's dedication plaque. "For all humanity." The Prometheus broke free from its orbital moorings, its massive form gracefully sliding into the darkness of space. The Pulsar-Core pulsed once, twice, and then stabilized at operational frequency. Humanity's greatest achievement had taken flight, carrying with it the hopes, dreams, and future of an entire species. What none of them knew was that their first test would come sooner than anyone expected. The Prometheus glided silently through the star-speckled void near Alpha Centauri, its Pulsar-Core humming with contained power. 2 weeks into their maiden voyage, the crew had settled into their routines, but an underlying tension remained. They were farther from Earth than any military vessel had ventured before. Lieutenant Patel's voice cut through the quiet bridge atmosphere. "Sir, multiple contacts detected at extreme range." Her fingers flew across the sensor console. 7, no, 12 vessels approaching from the Centauri system. Commander Raj straightened in his chair. First contact. They'd trained for this, but reality felt different. Communications, broadcast on all frequencies. Standard greeting package. The bridge crew held their breath as the message transmitted. Minutes stretched like hours as they waited for a response. The unknown ships drew closer, their formation tight and purposeful. "Still no response, sir," reported Communications Officer Lee. "There," his eyes widened. Energy spike detected across all vessels. Before Raj could respond, space itself seemed to ripple. Green-tinted energy beams lanced out from the alien ships, narrowly missing the Prometheus. The evasive maneuvers they'd drilled countless times kicked in automatically. "Shields at maximum," Raj commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. Tactical analysis. "Sir, energy signatures match the Drachnid raiders that hit the outer colonies." Lieutenant Zhang called out from her station, The name sent a chill through the bridge. The mysterious forces that had been terrorizing human settlements finally had a face. The Prometheus shuddered as another volley struck their shields. "Conventional weapons online," reported the weapons officer. "But their shields, our shots aren't getting through." Through the main viewport, Reg watched the Drachnid ships execute a perfect flanking maneuver. Their dark, angular hulls bristled with weapons. This was no raiding party, but a full battle fleet. They'd been waiting hunting. Engineering reports shield stability at 60%. Patol's voice carried an edge of worry. "We can't take much more of this." Reg's hand hovered over the Pulsar-Core weapons control. They hadn't tested the system outside simulations. Using it now could save them or tear the ship apart. Another hit rocked the bridge. "Sir, we're being hailed," Lee announced. "They're transmitting in Earth Standard." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure with iridescent scales and cold, reptilian eyes. "Human vessel," the creature spoke, its voice carrying artificial translation tones. "Your expansion ends here. Surrendered your ship and its technology." Raj stood, face set with determination. "This is Commander Raj of the Earth Global Ship Prometheus. We came in peace, but we will defend ourselves." The Drachnid commander's laugh sent static through the speakers. "Peace. Your kind brings only destruction. We've seen your colonies, your military build-up. The galaxy will be safer with humans contained to their own system." "Sir," whispered Lieutenant John, "they're moving to surround us. We need to make a decision." Raj looked at his crew. Their faces showed fear, yes, but also trust and determination. They'd trained for this, prepared for this. He pressed the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the commander. Prepare for Pulsar-Core weapon activation. May whatever gods you believe in watch over us all." Red warning lights flooded the Prometheus as the Pulsar-Core's activation sequence began. Deep within the ship's heart, something wasn't right. The artificial star fragment pulsed erratically, sending power fluctuations through every system. "Core stability dropping," shouted Chief Engineer Singh from engineering. "The containment fields are fluctuating. Something's interfering with the power distribution." Another hit from the Drachnid fleet rocked the ship. Grid displays flickered ominously as emergency power tried to compensate. Commander Raj gripped his chair, watching shield strength numbers drop steadily. "Sir, we've lost weapons on decks 3 through 7, Lieutenant Jean reported, her voice tight with tension. "Whatever's happening with the core is affecting all major systems." In engineering, Singh and his team raced between monitoring stations. The Pulsar-Core's chamber glowed with an intensity that hurt the eyes. Warning klaxons screamed as radiation levels spiked in adjacent sections. "Get me answers." Raj's voice crackled over the comm. "We've got 12 hostile ships out there, and our conventional weapons are useless." Singh wiped sweat from his forehead, studying the readouts. The numbers made no sense, unless, "Sir, these patterns, they're not random failures. Something's been planted in our systems." The revelation hit the bridge crew like a physical blow. Sabotage. Someone had compromised humanity's greatest achievement before it even launched. "Can you bypass it?" Raj asked, watching another Drachnid volley approach on tactical displays. "Negative, sir. The interference is hardwired into the core's control systems. Someone would have to manually reset the containment field generators from inside the reactor chamber." Silence fell over the command channel. Everyone knew what that meant. Even with radiation suits, exposure to the core's energy at such close range would be fatal within minutes. Singh looked at his engineering team, saw the same realization in their eyes. Someone had to go in. Someone had to die so others could live. "All hands, brace for impact." Ranger's voice echoed through the ship as more Drachnid fire found its mark. The shields flickered dangerously. The chief engineer made his decision. Without a word, he began pulling on a radiation suit. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Kumar, grabbed his arm. "Sir, you can't." "We've got 5,000 people on this ship," Singh said quietly, checking the suit's seals. "And billions back home counting on us. Sometimes one life has to be enough." The reactor chamber door hissed open, bathing the engineering bay in brilliant blue light. Singh stepped forward, carrying the tools he'd need. The door sealed behind him with a final sounding click. As radiation alarms screamed around him, Singh began his work. His hands moved steadily despite knowing each second brought him closer to death. The saboteur's device had to be found and neutralized, or the Prometheus would become just another piece of space debris. Above, on the bridge, Rage and his crew could only wait, watching both the approaching Drachnid fleet and the critical core readings that would determine their fate. Inside the reactor chamber, Chief Engineer Singh fought against time. His radiation suit's sensors screamed warnings as the lethal energy from the pulsar core penetrated the protective layers. Through his faceplate's heads-up display, he watched his exposure levels climb steadily toward fatal limits. Found it, he gasped into his comm, hands trembling as he exposed the saboteur's device. It was elegant in its simplicity. A quantum resonance disruptor carefully tuned to the core's frequency, sending visual feed now. On the bridge, Commander Raj watched the video stream with growing anger. The device's design was unmistakable. Earth military tech, not alien. Can you disable it? Yes, but Singh's breathing grew labored. The failsafes, they're coded. High-level Earth Force encryption. This goes deep, sir. The Prometheus shuddered as another Drachnid barrage struck home. Lieutenant Kumar's voice came urgent over the comm. Shield failure imminent. We need that core online now. Singh's radiation-suited fingers flew over the device's interface. The pulsar core pulsed behind him, its blue light growing stronger. Almost there. Chief, your radiation levels are critical, Raj warned, watching the telemetry. Get out of there. A harsh laugh came over the comm. We both know that's not happening, sir. Singh's voice carried a strange calm. But before I finish this, you need to know. The saboteur had help. High up. I'm sending. Data packet, my personal files. The bridge crew watched in horror as Singh's vital signs began to fluctuate wildly, but his hands never stopped moving. Got the names, Singh continued, each word a struggle. Admirals, politicians, corporations, all in bed with, arms manufacturers. They wanted war with aliens, profit from both sides. Stay with us, Chief, Raj urged, even knowing it was futile. We'll expose them all. The device is dead. Singh's voice was barely a whisper now. Core, stabilizing. But sir, promise me, don't let them start their war. The readings from Singh's suit flatlined. In engineering, Lieutenant Kumar bowed his head. On the bridge, faces showed tears, rage, determination. Core stability restored, Kumar reported softly. All systems returning to normal. Raj stood, his face set like stone. Record this in the log. Chief Engineer Singh gave his life not just to save this ship, but to expose a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of Earth government. And now, he turned to face the tactical display where the Drachnid fleet still waited. Now we show them what his sacrifice means. Commander Raj stood at the helm of the Prometheus, the pulsar core now humming with perfect stability behind him. The sacrifice of Chief Engineer Singh still weighed heavy on the crew's hearts, but there was no time for mourning. The Drachnid fleet loomed ahead, their weapons charged for another assault. Core power at maximum, Lieutenant Kumar reported from engineering, his voice steady despite the loss of his mentor. All systems aligned. The weapon is ready. Raj looked at the tactical display one last time. 12 Drachnid warships against one human vessel, but this wasn't about fighting. This was about showing strength through mercy. Open a channel to the Drachnid fleet, he ordered. Lieutenant Lee's fingers danced across his console, and the alien commander's scaled face appeared on screen. Ready to surrender, human. The translation carried notes of smug satisfaction. No. Raj replied calmly. Ready to show you why diplomacy is better than war. He turned to his weapons officer. Target their shield generators. Minimum power. We're not here to kill. The pulsar core's pitch changed, rising to a crystalline tone that seemed to vibrate through reality itself. Blue energy coursed through the ship's specialized conduits, building to levels never before achieved by human technology. Sir, the Drachnid commander warned, our sensors detect an energy buildup. Don't be foolish. Rage's finger hovered over the firing control. Sometimes foolishness is exactly what we need. Fire. The Prometheus released its power. A controlled gravitational wave, precisely tuned and focused, rippled through space. It passed through the Drachnid fleet like a gentle tide, and for a moment nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the alien ship's shields flickered and died. "Their defensive systems are offline," reported Lieutenant Zhang, wonder in her voice. "No hull damage, no casualties, just perfect precision." The bridge of the Drachnid command ship erupted in chaos, visible through the still-open channel. Their commander stared at Raj with new eyes, not fear, but recognition. "You could have destroyed us," the alien said slowly. "Why didn't you?" "Because that's not who we are," Raj answered. "Not who we want to be. Your shields will reactivate in 10 minutes. We've proven we can defend ourselves, but we'd rather talk. Your choice." A long moment passed. The Drachnid commander's expression changed, scales shifting in what might have been respect. "Perhaps we have misjudged humanity, or at least misjudged some humans." "Then let's start again," Raj suggested. "But first, there's something both our peoples need to know about who really wants this war." The atmosphere on the Prometheus's bridge crackled with tension as Lieutenant Lee decoded the data packet from Singh's personal files. The Drachnid fleet maintained their position nearby, weapons powered down but ready, an uneasy truce built on a demonstration of power and restraint. "Sir," Lee called out, his voice shaking slightly, "you need to see this." He transferred the decoded files to the main screen. The bridge crew watched in stunned silence as the evidence unfolded. Security footage, encrypted messages, financial transactions, all pointing to a massive conspiracy. Admiral Kapoor's name appeared first, followed by others: weapons manufacturers, politicians, corporate CEOs. "They engineered everything," Lieutenant Kumar said quietly from his engineering station. "The colonial raids, the military buildup, even the Pulsar-Core project itself." The footage showed secret meetings in Earth Force headquarters. The conspirators had planned it perfectly. Stage alien attacks on human colonies, build advanced weapons in response, then provoke a war that would make them all rich from military contracts. The Drachnid raids, Commander Raj realized, they were responding to our provocations. Our ships violated their space first. He opened the channel to the Drachnid command ship. "Are you seeing this?" The alien commander's scaled face showed an emotion that needed no translation: disgust. "Your kind planted weapons in our territory," they said. "Made it look like we were preparing for war. We thought we were defending ourselves." More documents scrolled across the screen. The sabotage of the Prometheus had been a backup plan. If the ship proved too effective, it might prevent the war they wanted. Better to have it fail spectacularly, another excuse for escalation. "Orders from Earth Command, sir," Lieutenant Patel announced, her voice tight. "We're to return immediately for debriefing and systems evaluation." The crew turned to Raj. They all knew what returning meant. The evidence would disappear, and with it, any chance of stopping the coming war. "They'll be waiting for us," Kumar said. "Probably have a whole task force ready to escort us back." Raj stood, looking at each crew member in turn. "The fate of 2 species hangs on what we do next. Earth Force regulations say we must follow orders and return home." He paused. "But Singh didn't die for us to play it safe." The Drachnid commander spoke again. "Commander, my superiors are reviewing your evidence." "They're willing to talk, but only with someone they trust can act independently of your corrupt officials." "Sir," Lieutenant Zhang looked up from her station. "The quantum comm array is ready. We can broadcast everything, the evidence, the conspiracy, the truth about the raids, to every colony in human space. Let the people decide." Raj nodded slowly. "And if we run, if we stay out here with our new Drachnid friends, we buy time for that truth to spread." The weight of the decision pressed down on every person on the bridge. Stay loyal to Earth Force or become rebels for a greater cause. Follow orders or follow conscience. "I won't order anyone to become a fugitive," Raj said finally, "but I won't be part of their war." The tension on the Prometheus's bridge could be cut with a knife. First Officer Verma stood facing Commander Raj, their confrontation drawing every eye in the room. Behind Verma, a group of crew members loyal to Earth Force had gathered, their faces set with determination. "This is mutiny," Verma declared, his hand resting on his sidearm. "You're asking us to betray everything we swore to protect." No, Raj replied calmly, though his heart raced. I'm asking us to protect what we actually swore to defend, humanity itself, not the corrupt officials who would sacrifice millions for profit. The ship's security feeds showed similar standoffs throughout the vessel. Nearly a third of the crew sided with Verma, believing their duty to Earth Force outweighed all else. The rest waited, watching, unsure which way to turn. Think about what you're doing, Verma pressed. They'll hunt us down. We'll never see our families again. For what? Some alien race we barely know. Lieutenant Kumar's voice came over the comm from engineering. For the truth, sir. For Chief Singh. He didn't die so we could help start a war. Verma's hand tightened on his weapon. I'm taking command under Emergency Protocol 47. Commander Raj is clearly unfit for duty. Are you? Raj asked quietly. Are you really going to draw that weapon? Start a firefight on the bridge of humanity's most advanced warship. He stepped forward, hands open. Look around you, old friend. Look at what we've discovered. The real enemy isn't out there. It's the people who would use us as pawns in their game. The bridge crew held their breath. Through the viewport, the Drachnid ships waited silently, watching the human drama unfold. Security teams, Verma commanded into his comm, secure the bridge and engineering. We're taking the ship home. No one moved. The security chief's voice crackled back. Sir, we can't. We won't. Not after what we've seen. Lieutenant Zhang stood slowly from her station. The evidence is already transmitting, sir, to every colony, every independent news network. Even if you take the ship back, you can't stop the truth. Verma's resolve wavered. His eyes darted between the faces around him, seeing not subordinates but people forced to choose between duty and conscience. The Pulsar-Core is under lockdown, Kumar reported. Only Commander Raj's codes can release it now. Chief Singh made sure of that before. His voice trailed off. The weight of the moment pressed down on everyone. Raj watched his old friend struggle with the biggest decision of his career. We're not criminals, Raj said softly. We're not traitors. We're trying to prevent a war that would kill millions on both sides. Help us, please. Verma's hand slowly left his weapon. The tension in the room began to ease, but the choice they'd made, the path they'd chosen, would change their lives forever. The quantum communications array of the Prometheus hummed to life, its power drawing directly from the Pulsar-Core. Commander Raj stood before the ship's main camera, his uniform neat but his eyes showing the weight of recent events. Behind him, the bridge crew worked at their stations, including First Officer Verma, who had chosen truth over blind loyalty. To all human colonies and Earth Force vessels, Raj began, his voice steady. I am Commander Raj of the HCS Prometheus. What I'm about to share will change everything you thought you knew about our conflict with the Drachnid species. Lieutenant Lee transmitted the data package alongside the broadcast. Surveillance footage, financial records, secret communications, the evidence of conspiracy flowed across thousands of screens throughout human space. Chief Engineer Singh gave his life to save this ship, Raj continued. But his final act was to expose those who would sacrifice peace for profit. The attacks on our colonies, the military buildup, all orchestrated by those who stood to gain from war. The response was immediate. Communications channels lit up across the ship as messages poured in from colony after colony. Lieutenant Zhang could barely keep up with the incoming transmissions. Sir, she called out, the Ganymede colony is declaring support. Titan Base 2. They're rejecting Earth Force control. More messages arrived. Ship captains, colony leaders, even Earth Force officers, all responding to the truth with anger and determination. The lies that had pushed humanity toward war were crumbling. The Mars Defense Fleet is coming about, Lieutenant Kumar reported from Tactical. They're forming a defensive line, protecting us from Earth Force ships. Through it all, the Drachnid fleet remained nearby, their presence a reminder of how close they'd come to catastrophic conflict. Their commander transmitted a simple message: perhaps there is hope for both our peoples. Reg watched the rebellion spread across human space, not with weapons or violence, but with truth. Colony after colony declared independence from Earth Force's authority. Ship after ship pledged to resist the warmongers. Commander, Verma said quietly, Earth Force Command is threatening to declare us all traitors. They're mobilizing the home fleet. Let them come, Raj replied. We have something they don't, the truth. And now, thanks to Chief Singh, we have the power to defend it. The Prometheus's pulsar core glowed steadily, a symbol of both humanity's achievement and its choice. Not to destroy, but to protect. Not to conquer, but to unite. More ships arrived, independent traders, colony defense forces, even Earth Force vessels choosing conscience over orders. A fleet of resistance, gathering around humanity's most powerful warship, ready to defend peace against those who would destroy it for profit.